Hey guys, welcome back to another F1 2021 video. Before we begin, please do leave a like on the videos if you do enjoy them. Let me know in the comments what you think of the videos, what's your thoughts going forward, and if there's anything else you want to let me know in the comments, just spam the comments or whatever. I like reading the comments and replying to them and all that sort of thing, so do get involved in the comments section, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. It would really help me out, and I would really appreciate it. So please, without further ado, into the video. So we changed difficulty in the last video from 60 for round 3 down to 53 for round 4. It worked out pretty well, so we've kept the difficulty the same. I'm going to see how we go with that. Not a whole lot that we can do at the moment in the facilities, which is kind of annoying since it's such a big gap between Spain and Azerbaijan. But we're getting some of the ultimate aerodynamic upgrades fitted. We're also trying to save up the money so that we can keep Schumacher in our team. Changing a whole bunch of parts. We are going to be taking a penalty on one of the parts. Just because it's probably better to take the penalties earlier in the season. I know a bunch of the drivers will be taking penalties later in the season, so definitely be a good thing for us to take those penalties early in some of these earlier races that I am probably better at than the later ones. But yeah, just trying to keep the car at optimal level so that we can definitely capitalize on our position at the moment and our ability to get points. There's a lot going on at the facility at the moment, like a lot of things we got to do, a lot of different department events going on. We are essentially trying to focus on resource points, team acclaim. We want to get our team acclaim level up to 25, and we did have one of our parts fail. We didn't need to rush it, but we thought maybe we should, just so that we can get it out of the way and get something else started earlier, and maybe get another one on before the next race. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but I think we ended up getting it in the end. Off to Azerbaijan. Definitely a hard race. Street circuit, really tight corners, a lot of 90-degree turns. It is a fun one. I do like this race, but at the same time, double-edged sword. It is. I have had a lot of troubles with it. Outside of career mode, and just in Grand Prix mode, trying to practice it. It's a quite hit and miss track for me, but we'll see how we go today. Qualifying, so as we start off with a tap on the wall there. Luckily no front wing damage. This castle section here, sector 2, is definitely the weak point for me. It's an extremely technical part of the track. And I definitely have a lot of trouble with it. Sector 1 is fine. Sector 1 I'm okay with. And of course Sector 3 is mostly just the final straight, really. So Sector 2 is definitely the part that is catching me out whenever I do this track. But other than that, we're doing a pretty good run here. Practice went pretty well. Qualifying is looking relatively good as well. So this was our very first lap that we did in qualifying. It didn't get any better than this one here. Trying to find some time in the other areas of the track that we couldn't, we weren't really hitting, but just couldn't quite get better than that first run. So we were second at the time. We do get relegated to third behind Bottas, so both Mercedes lining up on the front of the grid. Schumacher back in 12th. We will be taking a grid penalty though, obviously, for I think it was the ICE that we've got a brand new part for, just so we take the grid penalty early. So we'll be starting a bit further back, but we should still be in pretty good position for the race.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, George Russell and Ricciardo, Norris, Perez, Tsunoda and Carlos Sainz. Gasly, the captain. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Esteban Ocon and Schwartzman. Stroll, Giovinazzi, Christian Lundgaard and Nicholas Latifi. Mick Schumacher, Joe, Michael Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So we're going to be starting a bit further back in the grid. Schumacher's also taking a grid penalty, so he's going to be starting right at the back, pretty much at the back, P21. 3 laps on the softs to start with, and then we're going to go 2 stints on the mediums, but the rain is going to be setting in the second half of the race, so that will change to either inters or wets depending on how wet it gets. 5 red lights here at Baku, and we are finally off and away. That was a really long 5th red light there. We managed to duck down the inside, a bit of contact there with Sainz into the first corner. It doesn't pay off, but we're going to try another move here, and this time it definitely pays off. A little bit of contact there. I think Sainz again in behind us. He's starting on medium, so we should have the pace on him, but that Ferrari, tons of pace in that Ferrari. And we've got pretty much all new parts, so we should really have the pace on him, but we don't, and it's but that could be down to our setup. Front and rear wings focused very much on downforce. They're probably running a much lower wings than us, so we don't have the speed, but we have the downforce, which I figured would probably help in this race with it being so technical and so many winding turns. We'll always have to wait and see, because it looks like everyone's sort of got into a groove now. We're all sort of following along. Not a whole lot of room in this track to overtake, but I'm sure the AI will find plenty of chances to try and make life hard for me here today. So far we're holding on to P12 here, ahead of Ocon on some slightly worn softs. And now you can see the difference in pace that these guys have. Is not only the guys in front of me pulling away, but Ocon is coming right up behind me, looking to make a move, but we're all going at top speed pretty much. We've got ERS enabled. He's pulling out to try and make a move, but he just doesn't have the pace on us. He thinks better of it heading down to turn 1. So we can hold them off with the speed there, as long as I don't have the DRS. DRS is gonna kill us.
Try not to push the tyres too hard, you're probably losing some grip at this point.
Okay, so tyres are starting to wear down. As we can see there, we go very wide there, which is not good for us. We'll give Stroll the room here to try and go past us. He can't take the opportunity, so we stay ahead. We're going into the pits this lap. We're going to be going on to our first set of mediums, and probably most likely our only set of mediums.
Okay, focus. We need to stay on form.
Also, there's a caution there.
Has been deployed. Slow down and maintain a positive delta. There's been an incident resulting in a high level of debris on the track.
Okay, so I didn't know what it was at the time until I went back and checked the replay, and it was right there. If you saw Ocon coming right up behind us, so we have to take a look at the slow-mo. So we're in the pit lane, or the pit lines already, and he comes right up behind us, trying to make a move on who was next to him, and he clips our rear wheel, and it looks like that side panel of the front wing came off.
Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
Okay, so we're back in racing again, as we almost hit the wall there, just getting used to these medium tyres, but at the same time the VSC did mean we had to keep our speed down, so we didn't get a chance to catch back up. We were trying to push it a bit, to try and gain some ground back, but we had to keep slowing down a lot to get back to within a positive delta. So that didn't really help us at all. It slowed down the rest of the grid, but it slowed us down as well. So we've still got a bit of work to do, but now we're on fresh mediums, and it looks like we are gaining a lot of ground. As a lap 5 now, we've managed to gain 4 seconds, or between 3 and 4 seconds on Mazepin and Joe here. They are being held up by their teammates, however. Schumacher and Giovinazzi are just up front of them. Does make it a little bit easier for me to catch up when these guys are all holding each other up. Ocon and Schwartzman both went into the pits. I think Schwartzman had a tyre change. Ocon obviously needed a front wing change after that collision with me when I was already in the pit lane markings. So he had no business being out there behind me. But yeah, took the risk and it didn't pay off for him. We're going to get a good run here on Mazepin. We're going to get DRS as well as we just go past them. Full speed, 342 kilometers an hour down that straight, heavy on the brakes into turn 1, and we've now managed to catch right up behind Joe. Make a move on him heading into turn 2. So within 2 corners we've managed to gain 2 positions there. Get ourselves up into P18. And the car definitely feels a lot better now on these mediums. I thought the softs would have been the tyre for this track, but turns out it's probably more likely the mediums. Once again, like the Spanish Grand Prix, a good balance of grip and speed between the two. Durability is also going to be a little bit of a factor depending on when that rain starts to come in. As we make a daring move down the inside of Schumacher there, hard on the brakes, we managed to pull up just enough to get around the corner behind Giovinazzi, but what a move that was. We never should have had the opportunity to take that move, but luckily with it being one of the slower cars, I think we got a bit lucky there, and Schumacher's now into the pits. We went purple through sector 1, green through sector 2. We're going to get DRS here on Giovinazzi and a slipstream, 346 k's across the start-finish line, a 1:44.7. I thought that might have been a fastest lap there, but not to be. But we're definitely showing that we've got some pace now. Lap 8, so we did end up getting the fastest lap on the previous lap, 1:44.1. We're trying to make a move on Tsunoda up the inside. We get it done, a little bit of a slide. We're still side by side with Tsunoda. Hard on the brakes, probably wearing down those tyres a little bit more than we want. But we managed to get the job done. We're now P11. Schumacher is P13, but he's 7 seconds behind. So he's got a bit of work to do. But that would be mainly because of the pit stop that he made to go on to his set of mediums. Coming out through the castle section now. I think I'm getting pretty good at that section now. Exit out of there though, not the greatest. We do lose a bit of time heading into the straight here, but we're holding on. As the sky is getting a lot darker now. We're 10 laps in. As Sainz is trying to make moves on us. He can't quite make that move stick, but with the pace he was showing earlier on in the race, I feel like he's probably going to have a good chance to pass us here. He's going to get DRS, and that's going to give him all the advantage he needs to go flying past us. Tsunoda is also there as well. He goes very, very tight into that first corner, and he can't exit very well, so we managed to get the position back. So still P11, out of the points, but I mean that is only lap 11. We're just over a third of the way through this race. And we are going to be going on to intermediates or wet tyres for the rest of the race.
Let's be mindful of the conditions. The track is getting wetter. Recommend you stay out for now though. We'll be much slower if we move on to inters this early.
Okay, so Jeff wants us to stay out, so we'll stay out. We'll see how the weather changes as the first drops of rain are starting to come down now onto the visor. The long straight where we've got a bit more rain coming in now, but the track still seems relatively dry. We've got plenty of grip. Jeff wants us to stay out, so we're going to stay out. We're not going to risk going into inters yet, just in case it doesn't rain too much more.
Conditions aren't improving. It's your choice as to whether you want to fit the wets next time you come in.
Well, that was perfectly timed there, Jeff, just as we passed the entrance to the pit lane, and we have definitely lost some grip now at turn 2. Not good signs, as we are definitely going to have some trouble now. And the brakes, locking up the brakes. Oh, and the slide. This is definitely not good. We definitely should have gone into the pits and gone into this. Now we're going to have to go through the rest of this lap.
We're no longer sure that these tyres are the right ones. It might be time to come in and change.
Yep, we should have changed before this lap, Jeff.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Alright, so new strategy, on to inters. As the rain is definitely starting to come down now, locking up those tyres again. We've got to survive the rest of this lap on dry tyres, which we do. Into the pits, onto intermediate tyres now. Alright, we'll see how we go.
Finish the race on this compound.
Oh, we come straight out of the pit lane. And straight onto the track, crossing the white line. So now we've got a warning for that, as we have to brake so much to get around turn 2. So we're gonna feel it out to see where we have to brake, where we need to turn. It's going to be a lot harder now. I haven't run Baku in the wet. I do hope though that like some of the other tracks I have done in the wet, that the AI sort of has a bit of a hard time as well. In other tracks I have found that once we go from dries to intermediates or even onto wets, the AI seems to slow down a lot more than you would expect, and it does become a little bit easier to gain on them, as we just managed to get around that corner. Having to lock up these tyres, it's so much harder playing on control. You really have to know exactly how much you want to pull on that trigger to deactivate the brakes. Just the slightest touch is enough to slow down the brakes, but you know, you pull the trigger too much, you lock up those tyres. So it's a very fine line there. So we lock up the tyres again, so this is not really going well for us at this point, as we are at the halfway point of this race, lap 14. So we do manage to sort of get used to it now. We are still locking up the tyres a bit. We go wide here, but we have had a pretty good lap. We managed to catch up.
Our gap behind is 4.7 seconds.
Okay, so Sonoda's 4.7 seconds behind us. We are within 4 seconds of Norris as we just clipped the wall.
New strategy option.
Well, it wasn't even clipping the wall, we went straight into it.
Confirmed.
We now have to go into the pits. Front wing damage. Not ideal. We were just starting to make ground on the races in the points, and now we have to go in for a front wing change. Now we were showing some promise there, so we might be able to get to the end of this race and might get back into the points. But it's going to take some work. 6.6 seconds there with a front wing change. It's probably the best front wing change I've had in this game so far. Usually the guys in the pits take a little bit longer when it comes to changing front wings. They're a little bit slower, but I was pretty happy with that one. Right, so we're now 13 seconds behind Latifi. We do gain 2 seconds on him this lap, running a 158.2 on the inters, so it's a massive difference. And we go wide again, more front wing damage. The braking points and knowing exactly how fast you need to go around these corners it's so much harder, especially considering it doesn't feel like you're moving very fast in this car, but you're still going quite quick. It is very hard to gauge the speed. We haven't seemed to have lost much pace though. We are still within, we're still 11 seconds as we go. Oh, we're going to pull around here. We cannot get around. Braking very late, locking up the wheels. We've now got no front wing. We have to like, so now we have to, oh, we have to battle our way to the pit lane. So now this is definitely going to slow us down. Definitely trying to slow down enough to get around these corners now. Without a front wing, it's going to be tough. Lundgaard is now coming right up behind us. He's now picked up so much time on us. We've lost about 3 seconds now to Latifi. Through the castle section, which is already hard enough. We've got no speed, we've got no pace. We've got to give room here to Lundgaard. We let him go. We've got no way to turn and we're into the wall.
An impact. Let me know you're okay.
We had no traction, no downforce there, and we've hit the wall quite hard. And that is terminal damage. We are now out of this session. We were just starting to get used to these inters, and we were really starting to show some pace. We were starting to catch up to some of the guys at the front who are on the top 10. But unfortunately not meant to be today.
And so ends another Azerbaijan Grand Prix. A fascinating race and a well-deserved victory. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers have confidence to attack. And having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Well, there we have it. Mercedes 1 and 2. Bottas taking the win again here. That's now back-to-back wins for him. Hamilton in second, picking up maximum points for Mercedes. I think Bottas had the fastest lap, if I can remember. No, I had the fastest lap actually, but I didn't finish the race. So unfortunately, that is where things stand. No points for us. Schumacher manages to get from 21st up until 11th with the treacherous conditions, but he still drops down to P12 in the drivers. We're still sitting at P8, so we're still okay, but we're still way off the pace. 66 points behind Valtteri Bottas, who now takes over as the championship leader from Sergio Perez. And Mercedes now jumps ahead of Red Bull in the constructors. Aston Martin jumping ahead of Alfa Romeo just because of our finishing positions so far. We stay in P6. We're still not out of touch with McLaren and P3. So P3 is still the aim. But if we have more races like this, that goal is going to get further and further away. So a disappointing finish for us today, but hopefully we can pick it up in the next round, round 6. If you do like the video, please do leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and if there's anything else you want to see on the channel. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And hopefully I see you all for a better race in round 6 in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.